Cool. Well, welcome everyone to our first ever Alumni Athlete Forum. I'm Sarah Fold. I am a parent to 4 SCH students. We have a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, and a pre-K boy. And I am the current chair of the Blue Devils Club, which is a volunteer parent group that supports the school's athletic department. Current students who we have signed on. I hope that you take this opportunity to ask our amazing alums lots of questions and take full advantage of their willingness to be here tonight and share their experiences with us all. I myself was a college athlete. I played lacrosse at Princeton from 2001 to 2005. And I am just going to stand on the sidelines because I don't think my my intel is all that relevant these days. So for all our panelists, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate having you here. And thank you, Amy Keogh and Ed Aversa, for moderating the panel. I think most everybody on here knows Ed and Amy, but for anyone who does not, Amy is our assistant athletic director and girls trainer. And Ed is our longtime football and basketball coach at SCH and also serves as an assistant to the athletic director. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Ed and Amy.
It's great to be here. And it's also great to see all you guys. And I'm really so proud of you guys that you're taking the time to do this. There's a lot of questions. And there's a lot of questions that I'm hoping that our upper school will ask, but me and Amy can kick some off right away. First, we have, if everybody that's on is not aware, we have Monet Davis, who Monet's playing softball at Hampton. And we got Keisha, who's Keisha Williams is playing wide receiver at Wake Forest. And we have, who else? We have Anthony Marone, who's at East Stroudsburg. And Aim, you want to jump in there too? Who else we got on?
We have Maggie King, who is a field hockey player at Wellesley College, and Lily Sirocco, who plays squash at Amherst. Did you say Matt? I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. I forgot. I didn't see
Matt Raehoe from University of Maryland, lacrosse.
That's right.
So we have a bunch of great, I think we got everybody right. We have a bunch of great players, and we'd actually like you to introduce yourselves, talk about your school, and maybe say a couple things about your favorite memory of a time at SCH. Monet, you want to kick us off? You're next to me on the Zoom here.
Yeah, I'm Monet Davis. I graduated in 2019 from SCH. I'm at Hampton University, which is down in Virginia. I'm on the softball team there. I play second base. My favorite memory from SCH, I'd probably say winning the state title, and was that my junior year for soccer. That was pretty fun.
All right, Anthony, how about you?
Hi, my name's Anthony Marone. At East Stroudsburg University. I graduated SCH in 2018. I play center, and my favorite memory at GA at SCH was beating GA my senior year and getting our first Interact win in a couple of years.
It's always a good day when you beat GA, right?
Yeah,
Lily, how about you?
My name is Lily Sirocco. I play squash at Amherst College in Massachusetts. And I would say my favorite memory from SCH is probably one of the blue and gold days, maybe the one my senior year.
So fun. All right, Maggie, you're up.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I am a senior at Wellesley College. I played forward at on the field hockey field, and my favorite memory from SCH, I was very involved in players, and I loved being able to go from the field to the rec because they had dinner waiting for us, and I was always starving after practice.
There you go. All right, Matt.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Matt Raehoe. I graduated from SCH in 2017. I'm currently a senior at the University of Maryland and play lacrosse. I play defense. And my favorite memory at SCH is probably beating Father Judge in football my sophomore year.
Nice. All right, Keyshawn.
What's going on, everybody? Keisha Williams. I graduated last year, 2020. I played slot receiver at Wake Forest University. And my favorite memory would probably be winning Blue and Blue Day my junior year. And right under that would be the night game against EA my senior year. Only second because we lost that game, but one of the best games I've experienced at SCH.
Key, you're not going to mention that GA buzzer beater?
Oh yeah, gotta put that one on there.
Short, but still awesome. All right, so what we're gonna do is ask a bunch of questions, and then a couple people, if they want to kind of raise your hand and answer, and then we'll kind of just keep going through the questions, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. So anybody who is in the audience can use the chat feature to put your questions in there for us, okay? So I'll go first, and then Coach Aversa will do one. So first one I have is, what is the best part of being a student athlete at your college or university? Who wants to answer that one first? How about you, Matt? You're a senior.
Yeah, I'll take that. I would say the best part about being a student athlete here at Maryland is I like the impact we get to have on the school, but not only the school, like the state. I'm sure not a lot of you know this, but Maryland's a pretty big lacrosse state, so just being able to represent the state and the school and the alumni is like really important to us. So we take a lot of pride in that. So I would say that for me at least, that's something that carries a lot of weight for being a student athlete here at Maryland.
That's awesome. Who else wants to take that one? Anybody else? How about you, Keyshawn? Especially this year, being new and actually being able to play.
I would say it's been a weird year because of COVID, but I would say just the help and all the extra resources that is provided from teachers and professors and other faculty members, because they know that we have a lot on our plate. So just the extra help that everybody's willing to apply for us is probably one of the best things.
That's cool. That's cool.
The next question, I guess, that would piggyback off that would be, let me ask Monet. Monet, what's been the most challenging part of being a student athlete in college?
Well, if you know me, like I don't live in the gym at all. So like waking up early and, going to those lifts and conditioning sessions, those are pretty challenging at first, but like a few weeks into it, you get used to it. So that was like the most challenging for me at the beginning of, going to school and playing a sport.
How about you, Mag?
Yeah, I also didn't know how to lift before I got to college, and I kind of had Aaron Sistrunk help me out my last year of college, try to learn how to lift, but you get there and you can barely lift the bar if you're me, and by the end of my college career, I was lifting more than as much as I weigh, and that was a really cool opportunity to learn something new, even though it was hard in the beginning.
Cool. All right, so what about how your school supports you as a student? How would you say your school best supports you as a student? Academically, living there, any other way? How about you, Lily?
Yeah, I think one of the nice things about playing sports at a D3 school is that there's a really good balance, I feel like, between athletics and academics. And at least for the league that Amherst is in, like, there's all these kind of rules about like how much time you have to be like working on school versus like working out and stuff. And I think the best way is that like I saw this was maybe a later question that will come up, but our coaches let us take like whatever classes we want, and our practices are kind of scheduled around, our schedules. We're a small team, so that's possible, and I think that's the best way they support us, because at the end of the day, college is about getting an education, and you don't necessarily want to have to sacrifice taking specific classes or, in being involved in on-campus activities just to, like fit in extra practice time.
Yeah.
That's really good, Lily. That kind of leads to another question. Let me ask.
Let's just get another point of view on this with one of the guys too. I just want to see, like, maybe Anthony, what do you think? How does East Stroudsburg support you academically while you're playing, and in kind of other respects too?
They support us great. All the professors know that they have us in our class, and we catch up when we come back. They'll meet with us. They'll even extend their office hours or come back to campus to help accommodate us with our rest and recovery, and even our lifting. So they really work with us very well.
Yeah. Do you have like specific study table or study halls that you have to attend with your team? I know when I used to work in college, we had that for our athletes. Keisha, you're nodding your head.
Yeah, so for each class, I have a tutor, which is a mandatory online Google Meet for about 50 minutes. And then I also have study coaches that I have to go to. That's like helps me overall with everything, like just time management. And we also have academic advisors, which also dedicate a lot of time just to the football team, just to make sure we're all on time and we're managing our work well.
Right. Okay. Anybody else want to add anything about the academics? What are your majors?
I'll add on to it, but also I'm majoring in journalism, but for like the study hall portion, I think we had to do like 8 hours a week, so all freshmen, and if you didn't hit a certain GPA like the semester before, you had to do study hall hours. And that was like 8 hours a week, and you could just go at any time, but you had to sign in, and they had like a system that'll take the time down, like what time you checked in and what time you checked out. And then over the course of the week, it'll tell you how much time you have left and if you hit that mark or not.
Okay. Good. Let's hit it. Can we hit everybody with the major? I just want to see what everybody's doing, right? Yeah. Anthony, what are you doing?
Business management.
Okay. Hey, Lily, how about you?
Art history.
Very good. All right. Maggie?
I'm a political science major and a religion minor.
Okay, cool. Matt?
I'm a communications major.
Communications. And Keisha, have you declared anything yet?
I'm undecided, but I'm leaning towards health and exercise science.
Awesome. I like that. All right, Ed, go ahead. You get the next one.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback. I wonder if any of you guys restricted on your majors with being athletes? Like, did any, whether it's science labs, whatever it is, were any of you restricted on a certain major that you couldn't take because of being a student athlete? Matt?
No, I mean, I wasn't really choosing anything crazy, honestly, as a major. But I mean, we got guys on our team. We have 2 engineers on our team. We got a couple guys in the business school, sociology. We got a couple health and science guys. So, I mean, I think someone already mentioned this, but like you pick your major, and then whenever those classes are, it's kind of the coaches schedule our fall and spring practices and games kind of around like when guys have class. I mean, especially this year with COVID and everything, we got a couple grad transfers that came in. So even with grad school, practice is scheduled like after, like when they get done class, and they have class later. So they work really well with us with all that type of stuff.
Great. The other question I wanted to, this is something I think all our upper schoolers need to hear. I'll throw this at Keyshawn because he kind of just finished. How many hours a week, Key, do you train on season? And then how many hours a week do you train off season, being a D1 athlete?
In the season is a little lighter work wise. It's a lot of film, meetings, and practice. And we lift a little bit, but it's never really a heavy lift. It's light lifts during the season. So we usually practice for about hour 40 to 2 hours, lift for about 30 to 45 minutes. And meetings are usually we usually meet probably twice a day for an hour. So that's the end season. Off season now is we're just starting meetings, but we lift Monday, Tuesday, we're off Wednesday. We lift Thursday, Friday. And we have like optional lift Saturday, which is really mandatory if you know that. But so then we also have we have throwing sessions with the quarterbacks on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And being a lot of people like to get their own work in, so I put a lot of time in the indoor by myself after hours.
Anybody else want to touch on that? Lily, how many hours a week? On or off?
The very opposite end of that spectrum. We have like rules about like preseason stuff. Like we can't be on with our coaches before November 1st. Squash is a winter season, so we don't really do much in the fall, honestly, besides lifting like twice a week. And then in season, it's probably like 2 to 3, like 1 hour lifts a week. And then practice is probably like an hour and 40 to 2 hours every day, like Monday through Friday. And then in season, we'll have like matches on the weekends and stuff. So definitely not as much.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna take the injury one. Okay, so have you had to deal with an injury in college, and how did the school support you? Maggie, we'll go with you first because I know you had one.
I've had many injuries. I was going to say one of my favorite parts about being a student athlete are the athletic trainers. I live in the ATR, which is our athletic training room, and I became really close with our trainers because of how many injuries I had. My first injury was my freshman year, and I broke my thumb and had surgery, and so I was out for a while. But this past season, I had a back injury, which was really difficult because we had a small bench my last season. So I had to play all 60 minutes and I couldn't get a sub. And so I would sometimes come out for even like 2 minutes and the athletic trainers would do treatment right there on the sideline and come back on. I also had a lot of support from my teammates just checking in on me, especially when I couldn't play, because for an athlete, it's really hard when you can't play and be on the field when you want to be so badly. It's really hard on your mental health. And so my teammates were really good about not just with me, but with other girls who had injuries as well, like just checking in and making sure that they were okay. And still being involved, even if they couldn't be on the field, like making sure that like they had other things to do, even if they weren't allowed to play or lift or be in the gym. So definitely had a lot of injuries, but they make you stronger and they make you even hungrier to come back and play after you heal and take the rest that you need to.
Yeah. How about Anthony? Did you have something you were going to say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've had 2 concussions while I've been up here, and they're very good with that. Especially my last concussion kind of went into school a little bit, and the athletic trainers and even my coaches always made sure that they helped me get ahead, get caught up in my work, and making sure I was just doing good. And when I came back, they called me up on everything that I missed.
That's good. That's good. So they helped you manage your comeback and academically and athletically. So that's excellent. Okay. Anybody else want to add anything about injuries? School? Everybody pretty healthy otherwise.
That's a good thing.
That's good. That warms Miss Norma in my heart.
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that for everyone who's considering getting recruited for a sports scholarship, to remember that not only are you committing yourself to like time and also energy, but you're also really putting your body through something that's really taxing for 4 years. And you have to remember that injuries do come with playing at a high level. And so I might have a back problem the rest of my life, but it's worth it because I got to play field hockey in college, right? So that's something also to consider if you want to play collegiate athletics.
I guess, Matt, I'll hit you with this one since you're a senior. in your 4 years here, how did you adjust and fit in a social life or not? I mean, how did that go in the 4 years at Maryland as you and I know you played as a freshman, so you had, you were on the field early and you've been there for 4 years. How did you find the time to fit into social life, or did you not?
No, yeah, we definitely fit in a social life here for sure. And that's kind of a big emphasis with our team. Is just making sure, especially in the fall, because it's not as heavy. We don't have like a schedule. So the older guys do a great job with that. The seniors really, it's like really important here to just everyone be together, regardless of your grade, your age, whether you play or not. Like none of that stuff matters off the field. Like everybody comes in every day, like they put their head down, they get to work. So everyone has the same amount of respect for each other, regardless of your status. So we definitely have a big emphasis on that, like on the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays. But I mean, other than that, it's not really a lot of going out, especially in season. So I guess it kind of changes based on when your in season is. So for us in the spring, not a lot, honestly. But in the fall, we make sure we get everyone together and have a good time. So, yeah, I mean, we definitely fit into social life. And for me personally, I felt like I did from freshman year on to now in senior year, especially coming from a smaller school in Chestnut Hill. Maryland's a pretty big place, so that was the one big adjustment for me socially.
Is it different? Like, when your social life, is it just lacrosse guys, or is it a little bit of everybody?
We hang out with a lot of the other athletes. We're pretty close with the baseball guys, so I see Bubba a lot. But and like the girls lacrosse team, the girls soccer team, the men's soccer team, like everyone gets along. So, and everyone's usually out in the same place, so everyone gets along pretty well. Yeah,
that's awesome. Mo, anything you want to add to that, Mo? Fitting in the social life?
Are you guys, can I say one thing too, though? Like there's NCAA rules, right? So, when you're in season, your coaches talk to you about, going out and social lives and doing the right thing. And maybe somebody could touch on that a little bit too.
Well, I am not really a party person. I like to just, stay in my dorm, stay with a small group. But in the fall, just like Matt said, there's a lot more freedom, to go out to parties and stuff. So I went to like a few parties just to see how it was. But I think that was really it. I maybe have gone to like 3 of them for the rest of the year. So I didn't really have a problem with, socially. I talked to a lot of people in my classes, but mainly, you just talk to the athletes. So I talked to a lot of people on the basketball team, the volleyball team, the football players, just because there's so many of them and we're such a small school. So, you kind of just know everyone just through people, just making connections. But I feel like I didn't really have a challenge, socially, just meeting new people.
Anybody else? Key, anybody want to touch on that one?
Lily's got her hand up first, I think.
Hello.
Just building off what Monet said, like, I think especially at a smaller school, like, I know athletics plays a big role here. Like, we don't have Greek life. So a lot of the socializing revolves around being on a team, to the point where, like, it's been, like, integral in my social experience. Like, I always, like, joke that I'm very happy that I, like, love my team. I'm living with my team now. Like, you just end up spending so much time together, and, like, it kind of does become, like, your own social group in the way, like Greek life, like a fraternity or a sorority would kind of operate, and just like the way you kind of are together to socialize with like other teams, non-athletes as well. But definitely it's been being on a team is such a great way to meet people, and on other teams as well. So
I know I played, and I'm sure Sarah could say the same, but I played soccer at Westchester, and this is a million years ago, but my best friends are those girls that I played with. And, I think you're all very lucky. So I hope you can keep that up.
Yeah, that usually lasts a lifetime.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna take the next one, I think, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess one other one was, were you able to meet your future teammates before you arrived on campus? And do you think that's an important part of choosing a program when you're looking at the schools that are recruiting you? Who wants to take that? Keyshawn, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So for football, I know I took a couple visits up here beforehand to meet some of the guys who are already on the team, and you get a kind of a sense of the vibe of the team and the players and the coaches, like. And plus, once you commit, you're usually added to like a little group chat with everybody in your class that also commits. So we had a group chat like from way before we got here, and we all communicated a lot, touch base, kind of create like a little mutual friendship before prior to stepping on campus, which is always makes life a little easier knowing you got somebody by your side a little bit.
That's awesome. All right, who else wants to answer that one? Okay, Maggie, how about you go, and then Anthony, okay?
Yeah, I went on a couple of unofficial and official visits when I was a junior and then also a senior. And I think that it's really important to do that because these are the people, like Lily said, that you're going to be spending the majority of your time both on the field and off the field with. Ultimately, you know, the girls there tried to show me a good time and, you know, convinced me to come. And, you know, I was at Dickinson at one point, I was at other schools, but Wellesley, I felt at home there. I liked the girls a lot. I got to, you know, hang out with them and visit classes with them too. And my coach asked me what I was interested in and put me in classes that I would have maybe taken when I got there with other girls on the team. And so I really got a full picture of what a day in the life of a Wellesley field hockey student looked like. And yeah, it was really important for me to have that experience in choosing a school. I don't know what the rules are anymore for D3 or D1, but there were certain limitations on like official versus unofficial visits. So it depends on like what division you're trying to get into, but definitely important for me in choosing a school.
I think the rules are pretty similar. I think COVID times, everything's a little wacky. So, I mean, maybe next year they'll be back to normal. I don't know, but all right, Anthony, go ahead.
I know for us, we all came up to multiple spring ball practices, and then we stayed over at the upperclassmen's houses off campus. So we would spend a weekend with them, and that's how we kind of got to know each other. And then some of us came up to do classes in the summer. So it's kind of just, after, we just got to hang out and chill. And that's how we really got to know each other, especially in the summer when you get to all go to classes together. You're all on the same schedule and you're kind of just stuck with each other because nobody has a car to go home. So that was really like the fun part. And that's how we all got to kind of know each other.
That's awesome.
Can I add to that? Just because my experience was completely different from everyone else's. So I decided to, play softball so late. So most of the girls that are in my class, they already committed and they already went to camps with each other. So they already knew each other. So I didn't really know anyone in my class. My coach was like, I think you would fit well with this girl. She's going to be your roommate. And that was kind of it. Like we just said like hello and that's it. But the first couple weeks are very crucial into, getting to know each other. So you want to bond well with them. So I spent a lot of time just talking to the girls in my class and to, upperclassmen. We had a very young team. We had one senior and the rest were just sophomores and freshmen. So, just those few weeks we had to really, get to know each other just because we're going to be together for, 2 more years now. But we really had at that time 3 years together, 4 years with most girls. So those first couple of weeks are very crucial into, getting to know your teammates and, opening yourself up and not being, in your shell.
Yeah, absolutely. Ed, you want to do the coach question?
Yes, absolutely. The other one, what I wanted to touch on what Lily touched on, I think a little earlier. Do all you guys house with your housing situations, are they with athletes, all of you, or do some of you live with some people that aren't? Anybody want to jump on it first? Doesn't matter who.
I mean, I'll speak first. I mean, at least for us here, we live with the guys on our team from freshman year on. Freshman year, put in a dorm with probably like 4 to 5 guys on the team. And then once that's over, it's kind of on the guys to figure out living. Some guys get apartments, some guys get houses. Like right now, I'm in a house. There's 6 of us. All like the 5 other guys, they're all on the team. They're all seniors. But that's pretty much how it works for us is everyone lives together.
Anywhere else on Maryland? Do you ever have any mixed, Matt, like, you know, basketball, football, or anything like that? Or is it mostly teammates?
I think it's mostly teammates. I know like some like soccer girls live with some lacrosse girls sometimes, or like track. I think they kind of mix and match. But as far as I know, it is mostly you kind of stick with your team.
Key, you want to touch on that too?
Yeah, it's kind of the same for us. I'm currently in a suite, and I have which are 2 doubles and 2 singles, and everybody in here are football players. And in my hall, everybody on this floor is football players, and more so now because we have to create our own bubble because of Corona. But even prior to that, like usually you room with sleep with football players the whole time throughout your whole time here, like when you move off campus.
Lily, do you want to say something?
I was just going to say that it's kind of different here because the school like actively tries to integrate athletes and non-athletes. Even though we have, I think like 40% of students play varsity sports here. So it's a high percentage, but the majority of people live on campus, and like freshman year, rooming's randomly assigned. So like I didn't live with like any squash players, like it was athletes, non-athletes, totally random. And then after that you get to pick. But I think there's definitely more mixing like between teams, like kind of more what they were talking about with like lacrosse and soccer, or like that. Definitely athletes tend to stick together. But I live like with squash girls like just by choice. Not like there was nothing like with our coach or like our school like actively putting us together because we play the same sport or anything like that. But there definitely is like naturally like congregating because obviously you're spending so much time together and they're your closest friends.
Absolutely.
Anybody else on that? Maggie, Mo?
I can speak to that. I found a lacrosse player on Facebook when I first committed to Wellesley, and she and I asked to room together, and we roomed together, which was great because when I was in season, she was off season, so she would have more time in the room by herself, and it kind of just worked out really well for us. And then I roomed with what we call at Wellesley NARPs, which are non-athletic regular people. And I roomed with one of those. She became one of my best friends my sophomore year. And then my last 2 years of college, I lived by myself. But kind of like what Lily was saying, I only have 2,100 students at my school. So everyone lives on campus. And seniors and juniors normally try to get singles. And there's one building on campus, which is kind of known as the athlete building. I personally spent a lot of time with my teammates, and so I like to live away from them and come to practice, kind of separate work and play. And so I didn't live in that building, but a lot of my teammates did by choice, like Lily said. And yeah, it just kind of all worked out.
All right, the next question I got, I want all of you to kind of answer. I don't care in what order, but what kind of a relationship do you have with your coaches? And how have they impacted your experience in your time in college?
I'll go first. Our relationship with our coaches is awesome. They have us over before COVID and everything, like during the season, out of the season, over to the houses and eat. And we hang out there late at night, sometimes till like 12, 1 in the morning. And it's just fun. Because they went through the same stuff. A lot of the coaches at East Stroudsburg were former players here. So all the traditions have been the same. So they know what you're going through. And being with them is fun. You get to pick their brain and see and compare from what they were doing to now. And, you know, just hearing all their old stories about campus, it's a lot of fun.
Next, I want to hear kind of all of you how your relationships with coaches are at college.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to Ant. I have a great relationship with all my coaches, from my head coach, my position coach, all the way down to our video guy. But yeah, I mean, especially my position coach, me and him have become really close. He played at Maryland. He graduated in 2012. He played defense here, so it's different talking to him and different talking to the head coach. You kind of get more of like a personal feel from their side of things compared to our side of things right now, because he was once in our shoes. But even off the field, they treat you like you are their son, because you're away from home, and when you're going through tough times, they're there for you. So I've had a great experience, and I have really great relationships with my coaches.
That's kind of exactly what I want to hear from all of them, because I want to know if the relationships are similar. Who's next? Anybody want to jump in there?
I can go. I have a really good relationship with our coaches. We actually at one point had like 3 coaches for such a small team, which was pretty fun. And they're all foreign, which is like very typical in squash. So it's just so fun to like hear about, like, you know, they share a lot about their lives and, you know, just their growing up in college versus our experience. They always find it so funny. They're one of the only like teams at Amherst where they eat with us in the dining halls and stuff during dinner. So like we have a very like friendly relationship with them, which is really nice. And we actually had a unique situation where like the coach that recruited me, who had been here for like 30 plus years, ended up leaving my freshman year. So we went through a hiring process for a new head coach during COVID. So we were like doing tons of Zoom interviews, trying to find the right person. And the school like valued our opinion like so much. We all had 1 hour long meetings with the AD to try to, you know, describe what we wanted out of the position. And I think because we were such a small school, like we really kind of had the ability to like handpick who we wanted for the role, which I thought was really cool.
Anybody else want to touch on that?
I had a similar experience. We went through a coaching change halfway through my college experience. The woman who recruited me, she ended up leaving, going in a different direction in her life, which was, I think, a really good decision for our team. And we ended up, like Lily, being involved in the interviewing process. And we ended up with a former Wellesley field hockey player, an alum. And she and I became close because I think that she and I were very similar in that she saw a lot of herself in me. We played the same position and had a lot of the same interests and background. And so it was almost like having a big sister, I guess, who really kind of like was invested in you. And I knew that I could go to her and talk to her about anything, even if it wasn't related to the team or field hockey. And I definitely think that having a coaching change is different, but sometimes it can be difficult, but it can also be really great in the end. So definitely a curveball, but it was good. It was good.
How about you, Mo?
I'd say we have a pretty good relationship with my coach, just because 2 of them, well, we have a husband and a wife. The wife is the head coach and then the husband's the assistant. So it's very family oriented, and they have 4 children, so they bring their kids to practices, and you know, we just all just one big family really. But our team likes to have a lot of fun. Like we like to laugh during practice. We'll be dancing. But when it's time to, you know, focus, we can always just focus in. But they always tell us that their door is always open. They call every week to check on us to make sure, you know, everyone's doing well, check the grades, if we're mentally, you know, we're good, physically good, if we have any questions. So I'd say, you know, I'm pretty close with them. And I think I'm closer with the husband just because, you know, we just always talk. I talk to him all the time. And he's always like, yeah, you know, Mo, like a lot of things that you've done, I've done before. So he kind of gets me, and it's just always a fun time with them. And they're always making sure that we're having a good time. So I think my relationship with them is just something that, you know, many people would want. And it's something that I look forward to, you know, when I was looking to go to, you know, Hampton.
I think it sounds like a lot of you connect with like, and especially in college, you connect with position coaches and different stuff like that. And it means a lot to have somebody to go to like that. Because everybody knows college athletics, you can't always go to the head guy. You know, so you get to trust your position guys a lot more.
And your trainers, right?
Always the trainers are there first.
Yeah.
I actually have a question from a certain somebody from school that wants me to ask a question, and I'm going to ask this question. I think I'll hit Keisha on with this first. Key, do you think college athletes nowadays should be paid? And if so, why?
For me, I think we should be paid more, mainly because the commitment and the time that we put in. Like, I forget who said it, but like when you commit to a school, you're giving your time, your body, your mind, you're giving everything within that commitment. And when you're playing sports, you never have time to work a job, or you don't have time to do anything but to earn money. So I feel like, yeah, because especially when you move off campus, it's a lot more expensive living because you got to pay for your own housing. And the school does give out something called stipend check, which is like a monthly check, but you use that for mainly food, and that's about it. Once you buy your food and all that, that's gone out the window. So yeah, I think we should be paid just because of the crazy commitment that is given.
That's a great answer.
Does everyone agree?
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree, especially for Keyshawn's case. I mean, he's playing big time ACC football. Like, they don't have time to do anything else. Like, he is 100. He's either lifting, practicing, or he's doing schoolwork, and they're probably generating money for the school, and they're not getting any kickback for that. So, I mean, that's something that I am pretty passionate about. I mean, it's different for us though. Like, we're probably not bringing in money for Maryland. Like, we get decent amount of fans, but nothing compared to football or basketball. So if anyone were to get paid, I think it should be football players, especially because like what they put their body through. So yeah, I definitely think they should be getting paid 100%.
I don't
Anybody else?
necessarily think that D3 athletes need to be paid. I mean, we do have a lot of time towards our sport, but I know a lot of girls that also worked jobs and had time to do that. I definitely think D1 athletes who are bringing in a lot of revenue to the college need to be paid because, I mean, like Matt said, that's all that they're doing. And people are making money off of them and they're not getting any of that back.
Great answer. Anybody else want to add to that?
To the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A.
I have one good one, Aim. I got a good one for all of them again.
Oh,
A lot of you athletes that I'm looking at right now were 3-sport athletes at SCH. What's the difference from going from that 3-sport athlete in high school to that dedicating everything to that one sport now that you're in college?
I would say the difference is you got more time to dedicate yourself to really get better at one thing rather than, like I played football, I played basketball, and I ran track. So when it was basketball time, it was basketball time. I really didn't have time to work out football. When it was track, I could work out for football, but I couldn't really do anything for basketball. So now that I can spend the whole year focusing on football and I have access to indoor within, so I can work out when it's cold outside, hot outside, doesn't matter. I just feel like it's a lot more beneficial, but sometimes you do miss that feeling of being able to go compete at a different sport. But
do you feel like it helped you get to this point though?
yeah, definitely. I feel like playing more sports, like my own coach told me, like would help my recruitment was he saw me play basketball. So like to recruit multi-sport athletes. I feel like the more sports you play, the better. And you don't want to sell yourself on one sport at a young age. You always want to play everything just because you never know what's going to end up making you your money or what you're going to prosper in.
Great answer. That's absolutely excellent.
Sarah put a good question in asking did any of you consider not playing a sport in college? And if so, what made you decide to play? Maggie, go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, I was dropped as a recruit from a lot of schools early on, and so I didn't think that it would be a reality for me. And so I started looking at schools where I wouldn't be able to play field hockey. But at the end of the day, I couldn't imagine going to college and not playing a sport. Because for me, I do the best in school when I'm in season and have that type of structure and that kind of community. And so when Wellesley called and, it's a historically women's college. And so I had originally written them off and said I did the all girls thing for 8 years. I'm not interested, but they got me to go up there and had saved a spot for me. And so when I got up there, I really loved it. And ultimately I am really glad. And the reason that I ended up playing was because I couldn't imagine my life without it.
Very good. Everyone agrees. I see nodding head.
Yeah.
What about, one other thing, and I think, and somebody mentioned it over in the chat. What do you all do to maintain your mental health and to stay positive? And especially nowadays, it's been difficult. It's been a difficult year. Some of you are playing, some of you aren't. So what have you done to sort of keep yourselves, healthy in that respect?
I can't answer that because I'm kind of going through it right now. Because we came back January 11th, and we didn't even get our schedule until about a week ago. So we were practicing, didn't really know who we were playing. We have some pretty strict rules. We're not allowed to see anyone who's not on our team. I'm not allowed to see my family. So if for 5 months, guys can't see their family. We're getting tested 8 times a week right now for COVID. So you're up at 7 every morning. So it's a lot on you mentally. It's hard, especially right now. But they do such a good job of providing us resources. If you do struggle with that, there's mental health coaches, there's doctors, they're a phone call away. They reach out to you, even if you don't reach out to them. So that's really important here. But then just being honest about it with your coaches and even the guys or girls on your team. I know everyone's I don't want to talk about that. That's not manly, all that type of stuff. But just being able to be damn, yeah, today was a tough day. I'm not doing too hot right now. There's no shame in that. So I think just being open about it, especially with your friends, your close friends, I think that is when you that's what has the biggest impact if you are struggling. So I think at least for me right now, that's kind of how we're going about it.
That's so important, Matt.
Yeah.
I just got to go ahead, Aim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Anthony just had his hand up there. Yeah.
I know for us, the upperclassmen, we help the freshmen out a lot, especially since they're on campus and it's their first time away. Some freshmen reach out. So right now we're in our pods. So we go through our practices, and that's kind of a fresh air for all of us because we've all been isolated from each other. So it's really seeing them every day. We look forward to it, even though it's late at night, our lifts are late, but it's kind of just something hey, we all get to be together for a short amount of time. So that kind of lifts everybody's spirits, but it's just checking up on each other, especially the freshmen, making sure because they're away, they're anxious about being away. And then, they can't see anyone, like Matt said. We get tested every week. You kind of just have to stay in your own bubble. So it's just checking up on each other. And if anybody has a problem, meeting up and making sure you're staying safe while doing it.
Yeah. Anybody else? How do you maintain your mental health? Keisha, go ahead.
So in season, we had almost a team breakdown almost because we had teams had their corona outbreak in the beginning of the season, and we had ours toward the end. So we had a couple games canceled on us. We had big meetings about deciding if we're either going to finish the season or whether, because we were just practicing every day and preparing every day, a bunch of meetings, coaches, preparation, and then the game would get canceled. We were supposed to play Florida State on Saturday. The game got canceled on Friday at our walkthrough. So a lot of that crushed a lot of the seniors, and just being able to, what Raehoe said, being able to lean on each other and call home, talk family, coaches being open, and being honest with yourself, just being able to speak the truth is the best mental health break for you, because if you hold it all in, it's just gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
Great. I got another one here that says, this is good for all of these too. In what way do you feel SCH prepared you academically, socially, and athletically as far as going into college? How were you prepared and how did SCH help do that? Like to hear from all of you on this one. Mo, you want to jump in first?
Yeah, I'll start off. I feel like SCH prepared me because with the workload, it was a lot harder at SCH than it is at East Stroudsburg. So they, all the papers we had to write, how we had to format it, it's just how I had to do it here. And seeing how some of my friends who came from different schools, they really didn't know, and I was helping them out. And so they just prepare you for like all around different things, especially like when you have to write your big papers, how to cite, make sure you're citing properly, and just the workload.
Monet?
I'd say academically, at SCH, I feel like I got more work to do in one night compared to at school. So like school, you have, different, like multiple nights to do an assignment. So that kind of helped me out, especially with time management and understanding when I can get things done. And athletically, I'd probably say, just having different coaches throughout, my athletic career in high school, it helped me, find the one coach that I really wanted, and to know what kind of coach that I was looking for. But really just, that team bonding that I felt like I had with all my teams at SCH. I was pretty close with every single girl on the team. And then, carrying that over to college was a lot easier just because, it's the same team. So it's just easier to bond with the same team compared to, having multiple teams throughout the year. But I feel like, all my coaches were great. All the girls that I played with were great. So I feel like, it was a lot easier transition.
Anybody else want that one?
I would say academically, Wake Forest is a heavy academic school, so I wouldn't say the work is any easier, but it definitely, coming from SCH, it's definitely easy to transition into the workload here because I have some teammates who came from schools that aren't as hard as SCH, and they're struggling a lot more than I am. So the academic definitely transition well. In terms of sports, I would say just the coaches I've had, being able to have good relations with them, such as like I have a great relationship with Coach Ed. I know I can go talk to him about anything, and when he needs to tell me something, he knows I'm be able to take it, and he's going to tell me what he needs to tell me. And that helped me at the next level because college coaches are the same way. They're going to be there for you, but when they're going to tell you something, they're going to tell you something. So it's like you got to take it on the chin and also be able to know they still love you. So I got that a lot from SCH.
And yes, I do love you, Keisha.
Lily, how about you?
I kind of I felt like academically at SCH, like I was pretty comfortable. Like I think I really liked all my classes, loved all my teachers. And I thought like the whole school day being so long, kind of like what Renee was saying, like it's just the schedule is kind of so different in college. So I think the long days in high school definitely prepare you to like take on an hour-long college class and then practice. Like it is a bit more manageable. Academically, I was kind of like thrown a little bit out of my element, like coming to Amherst. It was, a lot of people, very smart kids, and a lot of people who, taking classes, a lot of non-athletes who just study a lot and just like have a lot more time to commit to class. You definitely have to work harder, I think, to make sure you can spend as much time in your schoolwork as possible. Kind of like Maggie was saying, like I felt like being able to balance sports and school and high school helped me a lot in college. And I feel like I am more productive in season just because I know like I'm going to have work. So I have to, I'm going to have practice. So I have to work during the day or like I have to work later at night. Just making that schedule and that routine, I think is good. And also we had a lot of different coaches at SCH in high school. I'm not sure if that like other teams can relate to that. So that definitely prepared me well for like this coaching transition in college. I felt like being able to just kind of jump in and start working with a new person can be difficult, but like having already had that experience, I felt like it was a bit easier.
Yeah. All right. I think, Ed, we're going to start wrapping up. last thing we want to do is have everybody sort of give a little piece of advice to our high school athletes, if you would. Who wants to go first? Anthony, go ahead.
So my advice to everyone is take everything in stride. Don't overstress about anything. Everybody's going through the same thing. Ask a lot of questions. Ask your coaches. Ask even the upperclassmen. Don't ever be afraid to ask the upperclassmen questions or your coaches. They've been through it and they can give you tips on how to get through it and how to handle everything.
Great answer, Anthony.
Awesome.
I'd say go at your own pace. Don't try to, if you see your friends committing, don't try to rush your process, because you're your own person and you have your own path. So go at your own pace and find what's best for you, and what's the right fit for you.
Awesome, Mo.
Great advice.
I'd say, sorry. I'd say stay open and don't get it into your head that you're going to go to this one place, because that might not be for you, and what is for you will come to you. I swore I was going to be going to school in Maine, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it's cold as hell up there. And I'm glad where I ended up, because I know that that's where I was supposed to be. So don't get too attached to one school, because it might not work out, and that's going to be okay.
Great answer, Maggie.
Lil, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything Maggie said. That was what I was gonna kind of say. But I guess if you're on the fence about it and an opportunity is presented to you, I would say definitely go for it. I think being a college athlete is super challenging, but it's also so much more rewarding. And if it doesn't work out a year or two into it, you can always, change your path in college and stuff. But definitely give it a shot, because I don't think it's something that a lot of people regret. So I would definitely, take an opportunity if it's presented to you.
I would say one thing is being mentally tough throughout the whole process. You're going to see a lot of people doing things that you want, and you got to remember that like Monet said, everybody's timing is different. So you can't get down on yourself. You got to stay self-confident and believe it, because if you just keep working and keep dreaming, it'll come. It's no rush. It's going to come to you. So just be mentally tough and just stay confident in your ability and to yourself.
Awesome, Kate.
Yeah, I would just say just stay the course. If it's not working out for you right now and you're not really getting recruited, it'll happen. It happened to me. I was a late bloomer, as they would say. So it'll happen. And then trust the people in your corner. Trust your parents. Trust the people who have got you to where you are. They know what's best for you. I know it can be frustrating at times, but have trust in them and have faith in them, and it'll all work out.
Awesome. So proud of all you.
Everybody. Yep. We're so proud. And we so appreciate you all doing this tonight. I think it was really great information for all the kids. And, I think just looking up to you all and in such a variety of different colleges and different sports, and, that the messages are amazing. So we do appreciate it. I don't know if Sarah, do you want to say anything in the end here? Is she there?
I'm here. No, that was fabulous. Thank you guys all so much. I mean, so cool to hear from all these college athletes, and particularly, how well prepared they were for the challenges that met them in college. And thank you everybody for being here. I hope everyone got something out of it.
Me too. Thank you so much, everyone.
And
good luck if you're still playing.
and the other thing I'm going to leave you with, as soon as we can, make sure you guys all stop back.
Please
I
do.
know every one of you do, so it's good, but that's what we miss the most.
We'll
with
do,
this whole
Coach.
pandemic, not seeing everybody.
We'll do, Coach Ed.
Maybe a players show, hopefully. Right? All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.